This is the Say It Can't Gamer, and you are live with the MMA
Mixed Martial A-Holes. You like to be a mixed martial a-hole.
No way.
From the Queen Studios of New York, Gustafsson will fight Jones regardless of roids. Bellator 206 Fight Week MMA news with the MMA Wonderful. What's up, friends, family, everybody? We are here. We're live. It is Monday night. The MMA Holes Hour, the greatest MMA show on YouTube, has started off Monday night for their 3-show-a-week extravaganza. Jessie, you ready?
I'm always ready.
How do you feel?
How do you feel?
Wonderful.
Of course, I feel wonderful. What kind of crazy question is that? Anyway. Hello, friends. We have a full, swole, sexy show tonight. It's going to be great. We are on Podbean and iTunes as well, so if you want to go check out the audio version of that shite, you could do it there. And there's a lot of stuff to talk about. We are 2 weeks out of UFC 229, so we'll dabble into that a little bit. But there is actually news that is not about Conor McGregor.
What?
I mean, insanity. There is news. We have something to take care of, and that is the whole situation about UFC 230. We need to figure this out tonight. We need to get to the bottom of this and say, hey, UFC, wake the fuck up and let the fans know what is the main event. There's no goddamn main event, Jessie. And look at this. Alexander Gustafsson is just firing shots. He wants it. He wants it bad. He wants Jon Jones. He wants the rematch. He can cheat if he wants. I will still put a beating on him, says Gustafsson. Now, Jessie, we've been speaking about this for a while. Right?
Yes.
And Bones is back. Bones is cleared.
Yes.
Alexander Gustafsson is lobbying for this shit. He wants his fight in the worst way.
Yeah.
And still, the UFC, well, they didn't even reach out to Gus. So what is your thoughts on this? The UFC doesn't even reach out to Gustafsson.
Surprise, motherfucker.
Just what? What the fuck? Well, what do you mean?
Are you not surprised? Are you surprised?
Well, I mean, yeah, I'm surprised
that they didn't reach out to Gustafsson?
I thought for sure they would have reached out to Gustafsson.
Why?
Because he's the only logical person I can think of right now.
The only fight that makes sense?
Yeah.
I'm not surprised.
Okay.
I feel like they've been jibbing Gustafsson of pretty much every fight that he wants as of late. Actually, for the entire year of 2018, they've been jibbing Gustafsson. So to me, it's kind of like, yeah, it sucks. And it would have been a shocker had they not been jibbing him in fights in the past. But now it's kind of like, it's the UFC. They hate Gustafsson.
Well, the thing that doesn't make sense is the UFC is promoting like the whole Jon Jones anniversary with Gustafsson. They put it on Fight Pass. They've been putting like pictures and alluding to the fact that we are going to see this rematch.
Right. Yet
they've never reached out to Gustafsson. Do you think Gustafsson is full of shit? Do you think...
It could be a publicity stunt.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that Gustafsson is not allowed to say anything. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that Alexander Gustafsson has heard from the UFC, but the UFC's like, zip it, Gus. Zip it, Swede. You can't say a goddamn thing.
Swede?
Yeah, zip it, fucking Swede face. Right?
Yeah.
Just shut
you
your
could
mouth.
be right. You could be right.
I don't buy it.
We can't buy anything any fighter says in the UFC because it's secrets everywhere, including with Gustafsson. So you could be extremely right. Maybe he does know that there's going to be a Jon Jones versus Gustafsson 2, and they're just not telling us yet.
Mm-hmm. I see a certain person in the chat, Fears Man. If you're still here, drop a wonderful, wonderful. I just want to make a quick announcement before we
Fears.
keep going about this. What up, Fears Man? Fears is in the chat, and if he is there, I just want to make a quick announcement here, okay? Before we go on, we have a swole, sexy show. We have a lot of topics. We're gonna do Save the Show. We also have something over here. There is it looks like a pillow. I don't know, but mail time, motherfuckers. We're going to open this motherfucker on the show. Live!
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah.
That's right, Jesse. We have more presents, and I love presents.
Yeah.
And if you want to send me or Jesse presents, down below there's an address, and we're going to open this up. Hit me with the ones in the chat if you're pumped up about the present being opened up tonight on the MMA holes.
Yeah.
All right, so I don't know if Fears is still there, but anyway, if he does pop back in, we'll talk about that.
I think he's still there.
You think he's still there? Well,
Yeah.
I don't know. He's got a lot. He's a busy man. All right, so here we go. He can cheat if he wants. Chat room, I need to know what you think about this. Gustafsson and Jones. I need to know, has the UFC actually reached out to Gustafsson? Will these motherfuckers be
bet they
fighting
have.
on UFC 230? Or will they be fighting another time? Or will they not even be fighting at all? Jess, what's up in that chat?
NH says, I got a big secret. I can't tell. Vigo Stockholm's dropping the shit emoji. Evil Duck 616 says, it's a bomb. Gay Agent says, I hope it's what Drunk Savage says. Shan Wood 1, Drunk Savage 1, Frost 25 1976 says 1, NH 1111. Michael Chapman says, it's a dildo. Brian Blaze says, my member is also swole. KW 2345 says, what about Romero versus Jones? Sorry, I read that wrong.
You know what? I would like that fight. Romero pulled out of the Costa fight.
He would make weight. Romero won't make weight.
No, Romero was fighting at middleweight. He would fight at light heavy. Yeah, Jones.
Oh.
Yeah, that actually is a fight that you could make. I don't know if that would jump the line for me. I don't know if that would be the fight to jump the line for me. I mean, there's a million other fights I would like to see, but that would be fun. It would be fun to watch. What else we got?
Gay Agent says, I like to pinch my penis and damage the tissue while it's inflating.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Polish Resurrected says, Gus for the win if it happens. Patty Brady, where is Nick the Tooth? Evil Duck 616 says, you guys should get a bottle of Proper 12 for the UFC 229.
That's the plan. And in the description, there is a donation down below.
It's Proper 12.
Yeah, it's a Drink with Connor donation.
Yep.
Link in the description over there. If someone donates that tonight, we will order the bottle live on the MMA holes. We want to get the bottle. We're going to do it. But listen, if someone drops that Proper 12, then you officially bought the MMA holes that bottle. We will pop that fucker open, UFC 229. And I think that's the only way to watch UFC 229, right?
Yeah.
For fuck's sake. That's right.
It's the only way to watch anything with a glass of scotch.
That is correct. All right. What else we got in that chat room?
Earth Deacon says, I have JBH and Moss envelope made, but don't know what to put in it.
A letter. Just write. It would be hilarious if you guys sent letters or whatever, and you don't have to send packages or anything. Just send a letter or something like that. We'll read it on air. We'll do a segment called Mail Time with the Holes, Hanging with the Holes, Mail Holes, Hole Mail. I don't know what the fuck you want to call it, but we'll do a segment each time we get some mail. So anything that you guys send, we will display it live on the show.
Yeah. MacV says, wonderful, wonderful. Gay Agent says, if I laid it down, face down, ass up, would you pee into my colon? I like the sound it makes as it fills up like a glass. Flathand says, Stewie. Griffin, Mousy, Weevil says, Diaz. Flatter Deacon says, money, I hook you up. Two Joint says, sup, Stewie, beef brother. Evil Duck 616 says, do you guys even care about Jones anymore?
All right, let's talk about it.
Well, he cares more about Jones than I do. I care because, well, just like anyone else would care, if you're into the sport, and especially someone who's been busted twice, like, you do care. By the way, I just want to point out, Luke Thomas had made a comment just recently about people who didn't care or said that they cared about Jon Jones cheating, but that they would still watch the fights, and you can't say that you're going to watch the fight if you're upset about Jon Jones cheating and stuff, because it shows that you don't actually care. That is that is number one bullshit.
Well, what are you saying? What are you trying to say?
He's saying that, and I think it was today that it was said, that there are people like myself who have said that they don't like the fact that Jon Jones cheated twice. He got busted. He's back in the UFC. Like, they can't stand that idea, but they would still watch Jon Jones fight, because that implies that you don't actually care that much about the situation or about the fighters, about the sport. Like,
But I don't know what you're saying. So what you're saying, are you not going to watch the fight?
no,
What he
he said that, okay. He said that anyone who has a problem with Jon Jones,
Yeah.
who said that they have a problem, but they're still going to watch him fight, don't actually care. It's implying that they don't actually care about fighters and about the actual, like, things that are going behind the scenes with USADA, and they don't care about the sport, like, as much as they say they are. It's such bullshit.
Can you simplify this? So
That is simplified.
People that don't like Jon Jones don't care.
No, people who say that they don't like that Jon Jones.
There's a lot of negatives. There's a lot of double negatives in there. So what?
I said I don't like Jon Jones.
Yes.
I don't like Jon Jones because he cheated twice and he's back in the UFC.
Yeah.
Right? But I also say I would still watch him fight.
Okay.
Because it would be entertaining to watch.
Yeah, so what is Luke saying?
People who do that, who say that they don't like Jon Jones but would still watch him fight, don't actually care as much as they say they do about the sport and about the fighters and about USADA.
So who cares?
I care because I'm one of those people who said that.
But, so what are you getting mad about?
You're missing my point.
So, all right, so you're saying that you don't like Jon Jones, right? But you're going to watch him fight, correct? But you don't care about him fighting.
No. Never mind. Let's move on. You're missing my point.
Who's on first? All right, so I don't understand what Luke's point is, and I don't understand.
I'll show you the clip after the show.
Okay, so are you going to watch Jon Jones fight? Okay, are you going to care?
But what I'm trying to say is, for those of you like Drunk Savage who understand what I'm saying.
But he's not explaining it.
What?
No, he's not explaining it. I need an explanation. So you're trying to say...
what I'm trying to say is people can give a fuck about what's going on, still not like Jon Jones for what happened, and still want to watch his fight. You can. Luke Thomas is completely wrong.
All right, what do you think in the chat?
Thank you, NH.
So the question is,
yeah,
and we're getting completely sidetracked here. So if Jon Jones versus Gustafsson is at UFC 230,
yeah,
are you going to care?
Wait, what was your question? Sorry, I kind of tuned out.
If they are the main event for UFC 230, are you going to care?
I would care enough to want to watch the fight.
So what are you complaining about?
No, you're missing my point.
What is he complaining about?
Exactly. What is he complaining about? Never mind.
Let me know. Do you care or don't? I like things simplified. There was just a lot of things spoken in there. I want to know, like, in the chat, do you give a fuck? Do you give a fuck if Luke Thomas...
Yes,
not Luke Thomas.
Luke is saying that they're hypocritical. Drunk Savage. Thank you for...
So what are they being... So they're saying that they don't care about Jon Jones fighting, right?
They're saying that because he cheated and he got into all this trouble...
Okay.
Like, they don't care about Jon Jones, is what these fans are saying. Myself saying, I don't give a fuck about Jon Jones because he cheated twice and he's back in the UFC for reasons I can't explain. He just keeps getting these gold cards from the UFC. He keeps getting these passes.
But you said...
But I would watch him fight.
But you said you didn't care and you don't want to see him fight.
I don't want to see him fight. But remember when I said for the entertainment value that I would watch him fight?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
and that's what I was saying. No matter what, you're going to
So Luke Thomas is saying those kinds of fans are hypocritical fans. But I think he's entirely wrong.
Now it's sunk in.
As a fan of the sport, I don't find it hypocritical at all. I do not like Jon Jones. I do not want to watch him fight. But for the entertainment value of a card, I would watch him fight. So it's not hypocritical. It's just being an MMA fan. It's wanting to watch the sport but not liking the fighter.
I think it is hypocritical.
I don't.
You know why? Because I think not only is it hypocritical, but MMA fans are hypocritical, right? Mm-hmm. MMA fans especially are flip-floppers, right? MMA fans, 1 minute they hate a person, next minute they're fucking paying to watch their pay-per-view, right? Now, here's the thing. What it is it's about watching Jon Jones win or lose, right? That's what people want to do, and that's what's great about this fight. And that's why the UFC is going to make a lot of money. They're going to make a lot of money from this fight because people are going to pay for it to watch Jon win or watch Jon lose.
Thank you.
Okay? Yeah. So that's it. That's what it comes down to. So who gives a fuck if they're hypocritical or not?
But you just made my point. It's not the fact that you're watching and you hate a fighter. It's the reason behind why you're watching. I'm not watching to watch Jon win.
Let me know in the
watching
chat.
to watch him lose.
Do you find that insulting? I mean, it's a statement. I don't think I can see where he's coming from. I don't necessarily agree, but I can see where he's coming from there.
Sure. I can see where he's coming from.
Yeah,
but
because there are certain
agree.
fans that flip flop.
Listen, there's nothing wrong with flip flop. I mean, there are fans of other sports, not even just MMA, that flip flop on who their favorite
I'm not a
player
flip flop
is.
fan.
No, I know you're not.
I like to stand my ground. Although I did flip flop once.
You understand though that
really.
those fans exist, right? Those fans exist. Fans
do.
that so flip flop fans, we know that they exist. I don't find it hypocritical. It's being a fan of the sport. It's being a fan of certain players or fighters. I personally am not a fan of Jon Jones, but I would watch him lose.
Should I play the "Fuck You, Luke Thomas" song?
Yes. Yeah. You know what? Fuck Luke Thomas.
Now we're saying because they're hypocritical. All right,
because
fine. Let's play it.
he doesn't understand the true MMA fans.
And Brian Roach is right. You've been an MMA fan your whole life, so you would know.
I'm allowed to have an opinion.
I'm just kidding. All right. Anyway, maybe
fuck you, Brian Reuter.
Maybe we'll play the "Fuck You, Brian Rogers." I don't know. Anyway, okay. So let me know in the chat because we've got a little derailed over there. Do you want to see Gustafsson versus Jones at UFC 230? Is that the fight that you want to see? When do you want to see it? Let me know. I need to know because there is no headlining fight on UFC 230. Let's go over there to the schedule. All right. We're going to scroll through. We're going to scroll down. And UFC 230 has blank faces. Absolute blank faces over here. The card is in disarray. I don't think I've ever seen anything like this. I honestly don't think I've seen anything like this before where we're creeping up on a fight. It's November 3rd and it's right around the corner and we don't have a main event. I don't even think we have a co-main event for this fight card. It's wild. Tyron Woodley pulls out. I think there's some big problems over here. Like I said at the top of the show, I do believe that Gustafsson has been in talks with the UFC. I believe he's not letting on everything, this full story. And I think Dana White, once again, was full of shit, and they will be on this card. I really do, because honestly, I don't see anything else. What else could be on this card? There's nothing.
Poirier Diaz?
Stop with the Poirier's Diaz. That's not going to be the main event. It's not going to do it.
What do you mean stop? This is the first time I brought it up on the show.
I know,
Poirier
but I'm
Diaz.
just saying, you said it earlier today.
Yeah, because I looked it up and it was on the card.
Yeah, it is on the card, but it's not the main event. It has to be, unless the only way that can is if it's a 165 belt. If they miraculously make this
Poirier
appear.
Diaz 165 pound title.
That's the only way it could happen. So do you think they're going to start a whole new division because they're so fucked up right now?
Could.
Then why would they just announce it right now? Why wouldn't they have announced it like 2 weeks ago?
The anticipation.
So no, they're literally going to put a division together because they can't find a main event.
Yeah.
They're going to spark a new division. I honestly
bet
think
they've already been putting together a new division.
Man, oh man. Well, I hope you're right. I hope you're right about that.
I am too.
I hope you're right because, I mean, I think a 165-pound division should be there. I just think that Dana White has no intentions on doing it. I really don't because, like I said before, there's a lot of problems. You know, they didn't solve the other problems with the other weight classes, and now they're just going to throw another weight class in there. It just seems like it would just screw everything up even more, you know. And then it just shows that the UFC is really all about money because now they're putting another weight class there, and now it's just more titles that they can show and flashy belts. You know, I wish they would just fix the problems that they have now and then expand rather than have a shit show in certain weight classes and then, okay, we're going to do a 165 now. Let's just throw everything else for a loop, you know?
I think it's pretty clear that the UFC is about money, though, even without that adding a whole new division and everything. Because if you think about it, and Jon Jones is a perfect example. He's the main topic of the night. Jon Jones is a cash cow, just like Conor McGregor. He's a cash cow, that guy. So why not bring him back? Why not let him cheat twice and then have that
I think Jon Jones
pass?
is a cash cow, but not like Conor McGregor. I don't think anyone's like Conor McGregor.
Okay, but all comparison aside, he's still a cash cow for the UFC.
Yeah, he's a money grab.
So the UFC is going to look at what brings in money, and they're gonna tackle it. They're gonna jump on it like candy. So
yeah, the UFC is going hard with the Jon Jones promotion, and they're saying, hey, he's back, enjoy it. What about in the chat? Someone was saying that GSP versus an alien. Would you like to see that?
Yes, 100%. Yep.
Okay. Did you know that I touched Mike Hunt's penis 36 years ago?
I did know that.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm glad you knew that, guys, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. We got 20 likes.
20 likes. 20 likes.
The MMA holds hour, motherfucker.
20 likes. 20 likes. 20 likes. I've got fucking 20.
Let's do it again. 40.
20 likes. 20 likes. I've got fucking 20 likes. 20 likes. 20 likes.
I've got fucking 20 likes.
I hope the dislikes die of leprosy.
I see Austin Cook dropping in Holloway versus Ortega, main event 230. Brian Ortega, if we can go to the Twitters. Brian Ortega actually put something on Twitter over here. And Brian City.
Brian Ortega is going to be the next wonder fighter of the UFC.
I know. Your till let you down, so hopefully Ortega
So
has a
put my
better...
money on Brian Ortega.
Let's see if we have it over here. What the fuck is the tweet? Ariel Helwani put it out there. What the fuck is it? What the fuck's the tweet, Brian Ortega? T-City? Saying that we both agreed. Now they... Oh, here we go. Here it is. It was the first tweet. Durr. We both said yes. Now send over that contract. Brian Ortega. There he goes. That's what he says on Twitter. So they all agreed to it. I don't see that on UFC 230. I think it's a little too quick to push Holloway in there.
I think, yeah, I agree. I think Holloway, his health alone, I don't think it would be up to par for UFC 230.
Yeah,
I cannot wait to see it, though.
Another reason why Holloway, too, is it's not guaranteed. Like, we've seen some problems already. So why would they risk the 230 main event throwing Max Holloway on there, not knowing if he could even do this again? You know, if the weight cut might have screwed him up the last time, or he just can't stay healthy at 145 anymore. So I don't think the UFC is going to make a gamble like that on a big card like UFC 230. I don't see it happening unless that is the main event. Jones Gustafsson is the co-main event for the light heavyweight title.
Oh, you know what? That would make sense.
Interim belt. Then it makes sense.
That
the only
would make
way,
sense.
and this, the only way Holloway versus Ortega is going to be on that card is if there's a backup plan. If there's another interim belt somehow thrown in the mix, or
What do you
maybe
mean?
another title. That's the only way.
An interim for who? Max Holloway?
No, I just
Brian
said Jon Jones versus Gustafsson. If they spark an interim light heavyweight belt or
Which
some
they
shit,
could.
some stupidity. I don't know, but that's the only way I see that. I don't see them throwing Max and Ortega and no backup plan belt wise. I don't see that happening. But man, this is really bizarre. One of the weirdest things we've seen. UFC 231. No main events, although they put JJ and Shevchenko there, but they're not saying that's the main event. Crazy stuff. All right, Jessie, we have an hour show tonight.
You know
so
sorry, JJ Shevchenko would not make a good main event. I don't think. I don't think people are going to want to see that.
No, well,
it's not going to put as many
for
asses
dollars.
in the seats for.
No, it's a good fight. It's a fun fight.
It is a great fight. I just
But
don't think it's going to bring in that pay-per-view.
No, that's not. You know, the UFC is not going to pull the trigger on that for a main event unless the main event falls through and like someone gets injured or hurt and that has to be bumped up last second. But they're not going to say, okay, this is your main event money wise. I agree. I concur. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we have a lot of stories to get to tonight with 75 people watching. This is the MMA Holes Hour. You saw a flash of something beautiful over there. Jessie, are you pumped up for the news?
Always.
I love you.
I love you too.
Oh my God. We have a pillow, what looks like to be behind us. We're going to be opening that up as well. We're going to fly through the news tonight, and it's going to be amazing. Let's all sing.
Jessie, read us the news. Oh, Jessie,
It's beautiful.
I want the MMA news.
It's so nice.
Wake up, finish work, whatever you do,
It's going to be okay.
it's gonna be okay.
All right, what do we got in the news?
Can I just ask one question? When will I hear it?
You'll never hear it. You'll never hear it. And the MMA Holes will never. No one will ever hear it. But maybe one day we'll play the whole song. One day. Hit me with the ones in the chat if you want to hear the entire song. All right, Jessie, what do we got? We have a lot of stories to get to. Let's go. Let's go. Remember, you can save the show at the very end. If you want to interrupt the show at any time, the super chat, or there is a link in the description for some bonus songs you guys can play. Make the MMA horror talk. And if someone drops in the Make Connor Drink donation, we will buy proper 12 whiskey live on the MMA Holes. All right, here we go.
Courtesy of MMA Mania, Colby Covington slams brittle bitch Tyron Woodley over hand surgery that delayed the UFC title fight. Here we go.
What happened? What the fuck?
I was trying to regather my thoughts there for a minute.
Tyron Woodley T-bowing.
Tyron Woodley had to undergo hand surgery last week, and it was less about repairing damage to his welterweight mitt and more about making Colby Covington sit on the sidelines and wait for his title shot, according to Colby Covington. If that's the case, then the chosen one got the reaction he was looking for on social media, as Covington vented to his Twitter followers about the latest delay, which is likely to have their 170-pound grudge match landing somewhere in the first quarter 2019. He said, quote, "That brittle bitch fights 1.5 rounds in 14 months and needs another surgery? Quit playing games, Tyron. You know whenever those nerds get done putting you back together, I'm just going to tear you apart and end you for good. Accept your fate or be stripped of your #1 contender spot." Covington may be in a bit of a pot kettle situation after recently turning down a Woodley title fight to repair some lingering issues with his nose, which elevated top contender Darren Till into UFC 228 main event. Woodley won that fight by second round submission. The only downside is the MMA fans will be subjected to another 3 to 6 months of back and forth banter between the two, with the top contender and part-time standby guy Kamaru Usman lurking somewhere in the background.
Can I say something here? Now, Colby Covington, listen, he's done a fantastic job keeping his name in the news. He's going on and on. Tyron Woodley needs hand surgery, right?
Yeah.
So what the fuck is Colby even saying anymore? They're not going to fight now. Like, I mean, it's going to wait. I mean, what are we doing? Why is Colby even opening his mouth? It's like, hey, let me fight.
The attention.
Yeah, you know what? I kind of wish Colby was like, okay, you know, let's talk about something else now, because we get it. We get it. Tyquill, we get it. He's brittle-boned. We get it, Colby Covington. I feel like the shtick needs to go into another direction. Why don't you call out Kamaru Usman, who's going to fucking wipe the floor with you? Why don't you do that? Why don't you call him out? Say, hey, Tyron, give up the belt, right? And say shit like, I don't know. Even though Tyron's not going to, because he just beat the golden boy Darren Till. Yeah. Tyron's going to be holding on to that. There's going to be no interim belt. I think he's just trying to stay relevant here, and it's kind of falling on deaf ears. You know, it doesn't do anything for me.
I can agree that he's trying to stay relevant. I don't know if it's falling on deaf ears though, because he's still in the headlines, which means something. You know, even if it's never going to happen, even if this or that, you know, steps in the way or is another obstacle, I think Colby Covington is well aware of what he's doing. He's well aware of how to stay in the spotlight. He's well aware of how to stay relevant. And as long as he's in those headlines, nothing else matters. Whether he gets the fight or not, nothing matters. He
goes on this annoying roller coaster. One minute he's extremely cringy and annoying. Next minute he says things that are fantastic, right? And you're like, you know what? I'm on the Colby train now. Shit's funny as hell. It's great. And then he goes on his annoying roller coaster, and then he gets off, and then he's funny again. Like,
and he contradicts himself.
Man. I give him credit for keeping himself relevant, and he backs it up with the way, you know, he wins. So he backs it up. So fantastic. But I mean, what are we doing now? Can we be a little bit more consistent? Or is he going for the cringe? Is that what he's going for? Just going pure cringe.
Colby Covington, who was he first like accused of being like Chael Sonnen, right? It was Chael Sonnen, and then it was Conor McGregor, and then it was a clash between the two. It's definitely the cringe that he's going for. 100%.
Let me know in the chat. Are you done with Colby Covington? I mean,
I am.
I know people are fans of him. I was on when he beat RDA, I was like, you know what? The guy's funny as hell. He's backing it up. He took out RDA. He did what he had to do, put himself in place for that Tyron Woodley fight. Unfortunately, it didn't come through. And now it's just kind of like, I don't know. He fell off the face of the earth. He did the whole Donald Trump thing. What's up, EM Baller? What's going on? And now it's just like, I don't know. I don't give a fuck. Tyron Woodley's not, you know, he's hurt. Yeah. So what are we going to do? Kick a Tyquill when he's down? Like, what are we doing?
Well, Covington pulled out the first time, which is ironic because now Covington's slamming Tyron for going through surgery, and Covington went through surgery the first time that fight was supposed to happen.
Yeah, it's just weird. It's completely weird. Let me know in the chat, what do you think of Colby Covington? Are you getting sick of this song and dance, or do you want to see more? I want to see Usman versus Ponzinibbio knockout knock Colby out. Or okay, I just fucked that up. Jesse, what do we got in the chat?
Gail Peck says he's a great fighter, but needs some top tier fighters beaten to talk more shit. And H says, I am done with Colby. He is not even funny anymore. Who cares? Two Joint says Poirier and Diaz be a good fight. Ian Baller agrees. Gay Agent says I wish Colby was my bedtime pillow. Evil Duck 616 says Covington thinks he's Mayweather. Just doesn't work in MMA. He just looks like a pussy bitch turning down the last fight. Deleted account says to Steve Johnston, I just got back from Sweden. Flat Earth Deacon says Queefington blows. Deleted account says you. Kenjiro Ryu MMA says racism makes me happy. Steve Johnson says Woodley needs someone like Colby to poke and prod him. Stephen Irons says, what's up, guys? What's up, Stephen Irons? Two Joint says Colby Queefington. Drunk Savage says Colby versus Tyron is the money fight at welterweight. Anthony Flanagan says, I meant to say he's just a punk. Many guys can beat his ass. Mousy Weevil says, Colby just needs to chill.
He does, Mousy. He does. Colby needs to just chillax or call someone else out or something. I mean, the Tyron fight's not going to happen right now.
Yeah.
And especially with surgery. And like Jesse said, I mean, you didn't fight when he was ready to fight. And he's technically still the champ. So, I mean, as much as Tyron annoys me too, Colby, you're killing me. You're fucking killing me. One minute I'm like, I'm on. And the next minute I'm like, nah, no more. What else do we have in the news?
Colby Covington has multiple personalities?
No, I think he's just, like you said, he's trying to keep himself relevant. I think that's what it is. And you know, you got like guys like Conor that can pull it off easily, you know, piss people off or not, but at least, you know, the guy's doing his thing. Colby is just the cringe is real. What else we got?
All right. Paulo Costa wants to win UFC titles in 3 weight classes and then move to boxing, according to BJPenn.com.
Boxing?
Yes. Paulo Costa, an undefeated contender in the stacked UFC middleweight division, has big plans for his combat sports career. The 27-year-old Brazilian hopes to win the UFC middleweight title, then capture the UFC welterweight and light heavyweight titles, retain all 3 for a period, then retire from MMA and move to boxing.
Oh, God. Can you just do what you got to do in MMA already? You're undefeated. Just do what you got to. Stop talking about boxing. What are we doing here, right? Paulo Costa. Shut the fuck up, Paulo Costa. Just beat who you got to beat. You know, like just do what you got to do. Get your fucking belts, then talk. Now, you look fantastic. You're great shape. You know, you're a beautiful man. You got muscles on top of muscles.
I think you're getting a little gay.
And
here.
I got to say, Paulo Costa, I think I want to suck your dick. No, but seriously, Paulo Costa, what are we doing here? All right, move on. Next.
All right. On Twitter, I found a tweet from Stephen Wonderboy Thompson.
Steven.
Yes. He put a tweet out to Robbie Lawler, something to look out to. He said, I heard you're going to be ready early next year. Ruthless Robbie Lawler, I know a guy who will be ready then too. Let's give the fans what they want. I'm bringing the heat back, and you know this fight will be fire. And he tagged the UFC. Mm-hmm. There has yet to be a response from Lawler. I am keeping an eye out for it, though.
Yeah, because Lawler gets fucking smoked at this stage of the game. Yeah, all Wonderboy there. It's weird. Weren't they saying that this was in works and it just fell apart? What happened with this thing?
I don't know, but he's calling him out again, so everyone better pay attention because, you know, if Lawler jumps on that and UFC's tagged and they see it, what's the chances that they put together a poster, you know?
Mm-hmm. Let me know in the chat, would you like to see Woodley? Would you like to see Woodley go through surgery or no? Stephen Thompson or against Robbie Lawler? Yes? Or no? And who wins? What else we got in the news? We're flying through the news tonight. This is the MMA Holes Hour, where we scour the internet. We look all over the place. We drop it on the MMAholes.com, and then we deliver to you the news artistically. We got a lot of yeses over there. Sure? Question mark? Yes? Says Allman Brothers. All right, what else we got?
According to USA Today Sports, in the blue corner, Curtis Blades versus Francis Ngannou rematch highlights official poster for UFC Beijing.
This fucking poster. Can we look at this thing for a second?
Yes.
Look at this poster.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, yeah, it's in China. Okay. Mm-hmm. So it would be better if it was in Japan, right? Because, I mean, it literally looks like, oh, Godzilla. It looks like they just threw 2 monsters together. And it's like, is this incredibly racist or is it me? I think it's hysterical.
Why would it be racist?
It looks like they have 2 monsters fighting each other. It literally looks like looks like a fucking Godzilla poster. I mean, if it was in Japan, I guess it'd be even more racist, but
yeah.
I don't know. Nice and big. They got the 2 guys together. They should add tails to them and big teeth, right? And buildings in the background.
I'm more into the fact that Curtis Blades is fighting Francis Ngannou.
All right. Well, what is the story?
Well, it's not really much of a story. It's pretty much set in the picture, but In November, the UFC returns to mainland China for the second time and makes its debut in Beijing with UFC Fight Night 141, which will be coming up soon. A heavyweight rematch headlines the card, which takes place November 24th at the Cadillac Arena and is expected to stream on UFC Fight Pass as Curtis Blades 10-1 will run it back with former title challenger Francis Ngannou, who is 11-3. Blades is number 5 in the latest USA Today Sports heavyweight rankings, suffered a second-round TKO loss to number 7 ranked Ngannou at UFC Fight Night 86 in April. He's unbeaten since. Well, not really.
This has been unbeaten since. Oh, Blades has been unbeaten since,
Blades is unbeaten since, but
yeah. No, Blades looks great.
Ngannou, on the other hand, he's a whole other monster right now.
Monster. Speaking of monsters, here's 2 of them on this poster. You know, if you take the gloves away, right, and you take the weird Chinese writing in the background away, and you put like a big, like, I don't know, like a flowy sunset behind them, right? Take away the fucking gloves, right? All right, I'm gonna crop out the gloves. Now, if you put a flowy sunset over here, it's like a romance novel, right? It turns into a monster. And it looks like a gay romance novel over here. Let's see. Oh, yes. Tune in. Get your book. It's coming out soon. Black on Black, BBC. That's right. And actually, this looks like a little bit the tip of a cock right over here, right? Yeah. That's about to go. This is Ngannou's flowy cock about to go into Curtis Blades' mouth. Yeah. Do you think Luke Thomas spoke about that? About how this looks like a romance novel? All right. What else do we have in the news, Jessie?
According to MMA Fighting, George St-Pierre explains why he doesn't want to fight Tyron Woodley, quote, right now. Since winning the welterweight title at UFC 201, Tyron Woodley has been chasing a fight with former champ GSP, with the primary objective being to capture the title of the greatest welterweight of all time. But after his win over Darren Till...
Super chat.
Super chat.
Good night, Steve J. and Drunk Savage. Love you.
All right. Tony, a.k.a.
What about good night, Moss and JBH, man?
Right over there. Thank you for the super chat over there. Good night, I guess. All right. What's the story? Where is it?
After Woodley's win over Darren Till earlier this month at UFC 228, Woodley says he is no longer chasing a fight with GSP because he no longer needs to prove his GOAT status. Woodley and his team believe that a few more wins over the challengers in line will cement him as the greatest 175 or 170 pounder to lace up the gloves. GSP respectfully
Is this on the
disagrees.
message board?
Yes. It's GSP right there.
Oh, GSP.
Yes.
Oh, whoops.
GSP respectfully disagrees. Speaking with fans cited recently, GSP addressed Woodley's claims about taking the GOAT mantle, saying that Woodley has already secured a great legacy as champion, but determining who the greatest is a very complicated issue. He said, quote, fighting is a very complex thing. I actually think it is good for him to think he is the greatest welterweight of all time because it makes him confident, and confidence has a big role for a fighter, but there are other fighters out there who can claim the same thing. Yes.
It looks like someone just splurred a period, right? He just went down on a girl on a period.
Crimson mask.
Doesn't it look that? The crimson period mask, right? I eat the period. I went to space, and alien had period. I decided to go down on alien, and now this is the result. Tyron Woodley versus GSP.
Yes.
I kind of want to see that, and I kind of don't.
I kind of don't.
It's really weird. It's bizarre, right?
Like, I agree with the fact that he needs to fight GSP in order to claim GOAT status, but I'm not interested.
What's your opinion on Kevin Lee, potential future champ? Evil Duck, I said, some people aren't very high on Kevin Lee, but I think that this guy has all the tools to become a champion besides his mouth. I think his mouth is annoying. But as a fighter, the guy is fucking young, strong. Yeah. He can strike and he can maul you on the ground. So I think Kevin Lee has all the tools. By the way, Kevin Lee is fighting Ally Quinta. He came on the show, Al, and he says, I'm fighting Kevin Lee. So some people are saying, who is Kevin Lee fighting next? It is Raging Al. Do you guys want to see GSP versus Tyron Woodley? Hit me with the yes or the no. All right. Jesse, do you want to see that fight?
You know what? If the fight happens, then I'll watch it, but it's not on the top of my list of fights to see.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see it. I don't. GSP, I don't know who the hell he's fighting next. I still say like Nick Diaz or some shit. Yeah. Or I don't know. I don't know.
This guy's so far out of his prime though. He's still going through that colitis bullshit. Like I don't know how many more
GSP?
fights. I don't know how many more fights he has left in him.
Well, I don't know. I don't think he's out of his. I don't think he's that far out of his prime. I mean, what he did to Michael Bisping was. I mean, Michael Bisping, listen, is Is he in his
But
prime? No.
that
but
fight with
was he?
Michael Bisping is what caused him to get colitis. Did you know that?
Colitis is for pussies.
Well, not for GSP.
What else we got in the news? GSP is such a pussy. GS pussy.
UFC Sao Paulo bonuses. Thiago Santos versus Eric Anders earns fight of the night. Santos versus Anders earned their money the hard way on Saturday night.
What a fucking card.
Yeah. The light heavyweight duo put on a wild slugfest in the main event of Sao Paulo, battering each other for 3 rounds before the bout was waved off in Santos' favor at the end of the third. It came as little surprise then that Santos and Anders earned fight of the night on the evening. Each competitor will take home an extra $50,000. For Santos, it was the 4th post-fight bonus of his UFC career. Anders earned his 2nd post-fight bonus, both of which have come in the past 2 bouts.
It's funny, this card over here, I'm telling you, for a fight night, it was fun. I mean, we had 2 duds like that start off the main card, and then boom, 3 in a row, fire. I thought, I mean, in this fight, especially, how about Anders? Anders gets dropped, and it looked like he was going to die. The corner was dragging him.
Yeah.
They were dragging him over to the stool. Like, no, buddy, you got to get your ass up.
I still think
He looked like he was going to
the ref
die.
waited to call, and there was a controversy on it online that I was reading. The ref waited too long to call the fight, and I said that during the fight night that he waited too long, because the guy was first of all, there's no way the ref could have been able to tell that it was ready to call the fight.
Well, no, it was 10 seconds. He heard the 10-second tap. So the ref tried to give him the benefit of that. I honestly...
The guy was heaved over. Blood was rushing to his head. And the ref's just like, all right, stand there and take a beating until the 10 seconds are up.
We know Anders has a serious chin, right? We know this guy can fucking take a shot.
He wasn't
right?
moving. He dropped.
His
head dropped.
So in this case, the Herb Dean case, yes.
He was laying on the floor like a dead man.
That was ridiculous. He wasn't defending himself. It was just a disaster.
Yeah.
Now, Anders was in serious trouble in his position. I don't think he should have stopped the fight then. I honestly, from what I saw there, I can't kill the ref.
I kind of want to rewatch the fight.
Yeah, I can't kill the ref on that one. Let me know in the chat what you think. This is actually interesting. What do you think of that fight? The main event, Santos versus Anders. I mean, if you didn't see it, Santos went fucking Hulk, like complete, Thor strength. And just, I mean, it was a war between these two. Really good fight. And Anders looked like he was going to die. It really looked like he was going to die over there. Chat, what do you say?
Steve Johnson says the prelims were good too. Evil Duck 616 says DC is a god. Shan Wood says GSP knocked out a former 205er in Bisping. He can maul T Wood and feed him some elbows. Ian Baller says Anders has some serious heart. Gay Agent says I wish I could come for Anders. Isaiah Moore, he wasn't in fighting shape though. Steve Johnson says yeah, short notice. Brian Burgess says Anders was fine. His bell was just wrong.
Yeah, the short notice is that, I mean, this could have been a completely different fight, right? Mm-hmm. Anders comes in, Jimmy Manuwa out, Anders comes in on short notice, and man, this dude fucking put on you know what? Anders with a full camp? I don't know. I don't know. I have a weird stance on this whole thing. I feel that sometimes these fighters that come in on short notice have an advantage. You know? I like the Nate Diaz thing with Conor McGregor. I just you've seen it a bunch of times where some of these fighters come in on short notice and they're, you know, one fighter trains for someone else and then boom, they got a whole different bag of tricks coming at them. So I think maybe cardio could have been a problem here, but I think in this fight, no, I don't think that was the case. Mm-hmm. What else do you have in that chat?
Ian Baller says CB Dalloway also quit, but yes, not good part on Herb Dean. Frost 251976 says Anders wasn't ready for a Santos level fighter. Stewie says Santos was a replacement also. Drunk Savage says full camp Anders. Evil Duck says Anders. Steven Iron says aren't Anders and Santos middleweights. Brian Rogers says in a fight short notice usually doesn't help or hurt. And he says respect to Anders, could have beat him if he had a full camp. Ian Baller says Bisping one belt on short notice.
Let me ask you a question. A full camp Chad Mendes versus full camp Conor. Think about it. Now, Chad Mendes mauled Conor. Mauled him in that fight, right? When Jose Aldo ducked out. And then everyone was like, you know, Chad Mendes, if he would have had a full camp, it would have been a whole different story. I disagree. I think in a rematch, I think that Conor smokes him even quicker. I really do believe that, you know? Because you have to remember, the other guy doesn't have a camp training for that guy, you know, for the guy coming on short rest. So it's, man, and you've heard this from fighters. You've actually heard fighters feel like that it's very different. When you hear the other side of the story, the person that's taking on the challenger on short rest, you know, they're training for something completely different in some cases. So I don't know how much it plays a fact. Like cardio, yes, I believe in that. But, man, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. All right, what else do we have in the news?
Is it time for Hector Lombard to retire following UFC Sao Paulo, according to MMA Mania? Another weekend of fisticuffs has come and gone as UFC Fight Night 137 blew the roof off. Plenty of fighters were left licking their wounds, including Eric Anders, who was beat down by Thiago Santos to the point where he couldn't answer for the bell for the fourth round, collapsing twice in between frames.
Hold on a second. Yeah, Mousy, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, Diaz came in on short notice and choked out Conor McGregor. You know? So, I mean, think about it.
But which fighter is suffering from the worst post-fight hangover? Now 48 hours removed from the show, Hector Lombard, going into his fight against Thales Leites, which was relegated to the Fight Pass preliminary portion of the event. Hector was looking to snap a horrendous 5-fight losing streak in an attempt to hang on to his UFC employment. Lombard and Leites engaged in a decent scrap throughout the course of their 15 minutes, but in the end, the judges awarded the Brazilian a unanimous decision win, sending him off into retirement on a victory and a high note. For Lombard, it's anything but. That's now 6 straight defeats for the Showweather, who hasn't tasted victory since 2014.
What a bust, huh?
Yeah, he did outlast Josh Berkman at UFC 182 back in 2015, but that fight was overturned to a no contest after the Cuban failed a drug test for steroids. Is it time for him to retire?
This guy came into the UFC. Everyone was really high on him. Has those heavy hands. And he really never really panned out, right? I mean, all I can think of is the Neil Magny fight. That's the one that jumps out where Lombard was just lumping up Magny and Magny came back and finished him. And then after that, he just didn't seem like the Hector Lombard that everyone thought he was going to be. Mm-hmm. He was at actually Triton Fights. And he's not that tall. He's not a very tall guy, but he is a big boy. He got busted for steroids. And yeah, you know what? I'm going to say yes. It's time to retire, Mr. Lombard. Unfortunately, I think that's it. Go to Bellator. Have fun over there. What do you think, Jessie?
I'd have to agree. I'd say that it's probably time for him to retire as well. I don't think that he's had the best record as of late. Like they said, since 2014. And then one of his winning fights was overturned. So yeah, I'd have to agree. I think it's time.
Yeah, let us know in the chat room. This is the MMA Holes Hour. We're flying through the news. At 5 minutes left in our little extravaganza, we'll have Save the Show. And if we get a donation that comes in within those 5 minutes, that denomination will extend the show that many more minutes. So check that out. Save the motherfucking show. All right, let's see what else we have in the news on the MMAHoles.com.
According to BJPen.com, Artem Lobov says that Conor McGregor can easily out-grapple Khabib Nurmagomedov.
The GOAT speaks.
Yes. When Conor McGregor and Khabib step into the cage together at UFC 229, most fans expect one of two things to happen. The expectation is that McGregor will either knock Nurmagomedov out or Nurmagomedov will drag McGregor into a grappling hell and possibly stop him on the mat. This feeling, of course, hinges on the perception that Nurmagomedov is not much of a striker and McGregor is not much of a grappler. While Conor's chief training partner, Artem Lobov, agrees that Khabib doesn't present much danger in the striking department, he feels erroneous to assume that McGregor can't grapple with the lightweight champion. He said, quote, "When you say it like that, it's as if Conor doesn't have wrestling and grappling and Khabib doesn't have any striking. It's true that Khabib doesn't really have any striking, but it's certainly not true that Conor's grappling or wrestling is not on that level. He can easily out-grapple Khabib and in the wrestling as well. Of course, this is Khabib's game, so we're not stupid. We're not going to fall into his hands right away, but make no mistake about it, we're going to be ready everywhere." Artem Lobov also offered a specific prediction for Khabib versus Conor fight. He expects his friend and training partner to win in the first round. He said, quote, "I see Conor stopping him in the first round. I just don't see Khabib being able to do anything. Look at some of his other fights Khabib has been in. The Ali Quinta fight, when he was connecting, Khabib did not like it at all. He was going back, leaning back, turning away, closing his eyes. Mm-hmm. The same against Michael Johnson. When Michael Johnson connected, Khabib couldn't take him down anymore. The only reason they ended up on the floor was because Michael Johnson decided to wrap up the guillotine and bring himself down, which was the biggest mistake of his life. I'm sure he still regrets that. Other than that, he had stuffed Khabib's takedowns already."
Artem, what are we doing? Lord Lobov, what are we doing here? Lord Lobov. I mean, I like you. You know, you retweeted for me. I met you. We took a picture together. We're best friends. But Artem, come on. Stop it. Would you stop it? Now, I think that Conor will be able to stuff the takedown. I do believe that. I think that's the case. But out-grapple Khabib? I don't know how I'm feeling about that. Although he did shock me with Eddie Alvarez. He did shock me with the ground game with Eddie Alvarez. He had Alvarez on the floor, and he was just opposing his will on him. And Alvarez had nothing for him. I remember yelling, get up, what are you doing playing on the floor with Eddie? But Eddie was also hurt at the time. So maybe if Khabib gets hurt and Conor jumps on top, and I don't know about out-grappling, though. I don't know if I see that.
It's difficult to predict this fight, I think. I think a lot of us, we know what we want and what we think we're going to see, but I think on that same token, all of us are well aware of the fact that this fight is going to be one of the most unpredictable fights out there.
Make no mistake, the notorious one will win this fight. All right, what else we have in the news?
According to MMA Fighting, why has prospective U.S. presidential candidate Andrew Yang been blasting UFC labor practices on social media?
All right.
Okay. Don't question.
He looks like
Andrew
an
Yang's-
Asian. He looks like Chinese Lou Diamond Phillips. Right? Doesn't he look like China? All right, good. Sorry. Ba-da-ba-da-ba-da. Chicken chow mein. All right, good. That was incredibly racist, Jesse. Stop it.
Wonderful.
Okay. Don't question Andrew Yang's UFC fan bona fides. The New York native planned his bachelor party around Tough 12 finale in Las Vegas back 8 years ago. He's been a hardcore enthusiast of mixed martial arts for more than a decade and remains so. What can be questioned is why Yang, a potential U.S. presidential candidate in 2020, has taken to Twitter recently to slam the UFC's labor practice and how much or how little the promotion pays fighters. Yang told MMA Fighting that he was scrolling through SureDog a few weeks ago to find out the results from UFC Lincoln when he stumbled upon an article with UFC President Dana White talking about how the UFC is now worth $7 billion. Of course, the promotion was sold by the Fertitta brothers to WMEIMG, now Endeavor, for $4 billion in 2016. White's braggadocio turned Yang's stomach, the entrepreneur said. Yang believes that the UFC is only worth as much as it is because the share of revenue that goes to fighters is kept relatively low compared to other sports.
Yeah, all right. Slow news day. This fucking Andrew Yang guy. Anyway, all right, what do you guys think about Andrew Yang? What else do we have in the news?
Were you?
No, I tuned that one out.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, I tune one out. That one, the Andrew Yang, I kind of tuned out on that one. Let me know what you guys think about that. But nah, no one cares about him. Let's talk about the cheater.
All right. According to SB Nation, Gustafsson says, I'll fight Jon Jones at heavyweight and Bones can cheat if he wants. As soon as Jon Jones was handed a retroactive suspension by the United States Anti-Doping Agency, or USADA, which would make him eligible to return to action next month, Alexander Gustafsson took to social media to call for a rematch against the former light heavyweight champion of the world. The only problem with the Mauler's request, however, is that he wants it to be for the belt, which will be hard to come by as Daniel Cormier currently holds both the 205 and 265-pound titles, and since he's been active, there is no reason to strip him of either title. Still, Gustafsson believes a Bones Championship rematch is the one to make, and he also is willing to go up to heavyweight to face his rival if Jones isn't ready to start cutting weight. He said, quote, he's a big light heavyweight, I'm a big light heavyweight, that makes sense. I think it's a great fight, and it's too good not to be about the belt. He never lost, they took his belt away, and DC doesn't want to fight, he's a heavyweight now, aiming at Brock. Gustafsson would rather face Jones at 205 pounds, saying Cormier really has no plans to drop back down. Alex has long been critical of Jones not fighting clean, but says if the ex-champ wants to fight with the help of a performance-enhancing drugs in the rematch, he will allow it. John did express his interest in moving up to 265 as well, but has his eyes set on DC's title or Brock Lesnar. Neither of those fights seem to be possible as Cormier is moving on from Bones, and he is the front runner to take on Lesnar next.
It's funny. I really think this is going to happen. I kind of like what, Gustafsson's funny. Another interesting one. He sometimes gets cringy with his call outs and he's chasing around Daniel Cormier. And now he's going after Jon Jones. And I love it. I love it because you think about it. That fight was a war the first time. This is the one fight where I really want to see Gustafsson come back to. I can't think of any other fight that I want to see Gustafsson come back to more than Jon Bones Jones, especially off of a long layoff. It's going to be interesting to see how this one pans out. I don't know who. I mean, I would have to say John's going to win the fight if these two tango again, but it's a tough one for me. John with that huge layoff, he didn't look that great against OSP when he came back, and he's coming back again against a hungry Gustafsson. I think it's a great fight. I really want to see this. I like the way Gustafsson's like, fuck it. He can do the steroids or not do the steroids. I'll fight him either way. I love it. I really do enjoy this little back and, well, it's not even a back and forth. It's Gustafsson going after Jones and Jones just kind of not saying a damn thing, right? Has he responded, Jones?
There has not been a response yet, so I expect one within the next 24 hours for sure.
Do you want to see this fight? Yes or no? All right, what else do we have in the news? JBH?
That is it.
That is all. All right, this is what we're going to do here. Behind me is a package. Jesse, if you could grab that package, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start the clock.
Your headphones stretch further than mine.
You want me to get it? All right. All right, I'm going to start the clock right now. This is the Save the Show segment. The first person that comes in, the amount that you donate, we will go that much longer into the show. Now, remember, we have 3 new donations down below. We got the Colby Covington donation. We have the Khabib time. And we have the Drink with Conor. If someone drops the Drink with Conor donation, we will buy the proper 12 live on the MMA Holes. Brand new donations. But, Jesse, here we go. This is a package.
Yeah.
Take a guess in the chat what this package is. What do you guys think this is? Now, I'll give you a hint. I think you lay your head on this, right? All right, Jesse, ready? Let's see what we got here. Oh, my God, I'm so excited. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, make sure you check us out on iTunes and Podbean if you want to listen to the audio version of this. Jesse's opening up a package if you're listening, and it's exciting. That's right. 51 in the like column, 13,473 subscribers. Jesse?
I think that our casting couch
Hold on a second.
may have just received its very first accent.
Wow. Now, who is this from?
This
Does it
is
say?
from Harvey.
Harvey?
Are you ready?
Harvey Weinstein. All right, here we go.
Are you ready, casting couch, for your very first accent?
Yes.
Whatcha?
What the fuck? Oh, shit. Put it a little closer to the camera. Check this out. The GOAT, Felony Charles Bennett, also known as something horse. I'm not going to say it. I'm not allowed to. But look at that. Felony Charles Bennett. Holy shit. We have a felony pillow for the casting couch. This is insanity. Look at that. And
It's
it
actually
matches.
a very nice quality pillow right here.
Look at this thing.
It's a nice quality.
Holy shit. That is actually pretty good.
Look, it's got a zipper. You can wash the cover.
Beautiful.
Look how
you might
amazing
want to
that
watch this now because you never know what Felony has done with this channel. With this, look at this pillow. But check out Felony's channel. Felony Charles Bennett is our featured channel on the MMA Holes. Check him out. Funny shit over there. This man will be fighting soon, I think. I think he has a fight coming up. Is he fighting for Island Fights? Felony, if you're watching and you're fighting for Island Fights, hit me up. We'll get you on the show Wednesday if you want to come on. But yeah, Felony Charles Bennett. Wow, look at that pillow. Rate this fucking thing. Can you smell the weed through the microphone? Hold on. Put it through the microphone. Can you smell it? I don't know. All right, let's put this on the casting couch. This is a perfect addition to the casting couch over here. Look at that. All right. I'm soaked. I'm soaking wet. By the way, is that true, Alvarez? Did he wind up signing with ONE FC? I heard rumors about that. Is that true? We'll check the news and talk about that. We have 2 minutes and 20 seconds left in the show. Will you save the show? All right, now is the time to find out. If you do, we'll open up some phone lines, and we'll talk about the news over here with Jon Jones. Will he fight Alexander Gustafsson? Holy shit. I don't know. I think it's going to be a yes. I think that is the fight that's going to happen. I want to see it. And I think it's going to be on UFC 230. I think Dana White was full of shit. Full of shite, Jesse.
Yeah.
What's up in the chat?
Joey Faggoter says, I think he hidden the bags inside the pillow. I think he hidden the bags inside the pillow.
You think there's some marijuana bags in there?
Stewie's punching someone's nose off. Drunk Savage says, make sweet love on the pillow, Chris and JBH. We will, right after the show. Brian Burgess says, studio keeps looking better and better, Moss.
It sure does. It's wonderful, wonderful.
Wonderful.
Shannon Wood says, weed legal in Canada October 1st. Steve Johnson says they released the fact they are negotiating, not the actual signing with ONE FC Alvarez.
All right. So, yeah, what about that? Imagine Eddie Alvarez, ONE FC. I kind of want him to go back to Bellator and fight Chandler again. I don't know. I kind of want to see that. But ONE FC is an interesting one. How about Johnny Hendricks with bare knuckle boxing? This guy was on Luke Thomas today, and I do not buy a word that this motherfucker was saying. Johnny Hendricks. I don't buy a word. This guy was juicing. I don't care. He was just watching him. I was studying how he was acting. Go watch the MMA Hour with Luke Thomas and watch Johnny Hendricks. And in the comment section down below or on the MMAholds.com, let us know. Do you think Johnny Hendricks is full of shit? He was talking about rehydrating and the IV. There was just a lot of holes in his story, and it was killing me. Ask Jesse. I was looking at the screen. I was like, Luke, ask the questions we want. I was saying if I had Johnny on, I would be fucking hitting him over the head with questions. And it was killing me. It was absolutely killing me.
It was. He was having a heart attack on the sofa today.
I didn't buy it. I did not buy it. 20 seconds left. Is anyone going to save the show? Jesse, what do you think about Johnny Hendricks? Liar or no?
No.
You don't think he was lying?
No. It's totally clean.
4, 3, 2. Jesse?
Why did you guys save the show?
Last words.
Don't be an a-hole. Be an MMA hole.